Welcome to Jaunty Haunts, the podcast about all things supernatural. After 30 years of keeping a secret, I'm finally ready to share with the world that I see ghosts. Yep, I've been having conversations with the other side while trying to keep up appearances. This podcast is all about getting spooky and connecting with others who might also sense, see, or feel things beyond the ordinary. We'll swap true tales of the seen and unseen, and maybe even laugh about the weird stuff we've experienced. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, come join me as we explore the paranormal. Let's connect, share, and maybe feel a little less crazy together. Welcome to Jaunty Haunts. Hey listeners, welcome to episode 10, part 2. As I mentioned in part 1, in honor of our 10th episode and the holiday season, I have decided to release a two-parter today. So, this is part 2 of our double-digit special. We're continuing our chat with Kiwi, actor, nurse, and overall beam of sunlight, Hannah Fernando. Again, you can find Hannah on Instagram at ThatNurseHannah, where she is bringing joy and comedy to all walks of life. Head to her Instagram today. She's got some really great stuff, you guys. In part 2, we'll be getting into more of her nursing history and experience in palliative care. We chat openly about what it means to take care of someone moments after passing and what that looks like for families and medical professionals. I learned so much from Hannah. It was truly an honor to get to ask questions about, well, what happens when we die. Our conversation was really moving and something I will never forget. Hannah, thanks again for your willingness, openness, and expertise. I hope you enjoy, listeners. The CASPER rating of this episode is 3. Now, let's get into episode 10, part 2.
Speaking of buildings, I told you,
yes,
my parents...
Oh my god,
honeymooned.
Yes. Tell me about this. How did this happen? Yes.
Oh my god. So, mum and dad, they got married. And then this is like, I think in 1980, 84, 86. I can't remember, but it was in the 80s. And they,
in New Zealand?
In New Zealand, yeah. And rather than like go on a honeymoon, like straight after the wedding, mum and dad were like, let's save some money and we'll go overseas and we'll have like a big OE. So their first stop was America, and my dad, they were going to go to Europe eventually, but dad's like, America. And then dad had already been to America, I think, like maybe 7 years ago, before mum was on the scene with his older brother.
Okay.
And they had a great time, like painting apartments, I think.
Okay.
I don't know what dad did.
I love that.
It was a random time, but he was in America. And when they arrived in America the second time, dad, now married to my mum Irene, dad was like, I know where we can stay. I've stayed in this place before. It's a good place. It's very, very close to downtown LA. And it was the Cecil Hotel. And I can't stress it enough that mum coming from like a country town to like, is it
Los Angeles?
Is it Skid Row?
Skid Row.
Skid Row.
Yes, yeah, it's downtown LA. Yeah.
Skid Row, and being like,
oh my god,
where the fuck are we? Like she was
horrifying.
Yeah, she was like, she was quite
to be exposed to that. Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah. And then dad was like, okay, come in. This is the hotel.
He was fine with it?
Well, he'd been there before with his brother, like 7 years ago.
Okay, so kind of before it got really bad.
Yeah, but it had definitely like decrepit by, I mean, it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what happened in the 80s?
I mean, drugs and everything, but what specifically?
The freaking Night Stalker.
Oh, yeah, the Night Stalker. Yeah, Ramirez. Yeah, he lived there.
Yeah.
And he would kill people there.
Yeah. So mum and dad, they arrived at the Cecil. Mum was like, what the fuck? Who have I married? And then they get into the hotel. And there's like, do you know shag pole carpet?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like real furry, hairy carpet.
Yeah.
There was like cockroaches like stuck in the carpet.
Oh my god.
There was like curtains that had like funky stains on them.
Oh.
It smelled like really bad. Mum said she was really disturbed by this, which is such a Kiwi thing to worry about. She couldn't there was no fresh air.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like the aircon, I think there was no aircon or it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And like the only thing was the window.
Was, like,
and it was so tiny.
Yeah.
And like it was smelly and you could just hear like the noise.
The ambulance, everything.
Yeah, like yelling and stuff. So Mum was like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And anyway, Mum's like, I don't like this, Mark. It's not very honeymoon-esque.
No.
And I've got just a really like bad feeling about this place.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Anyway, they I think they want to explore downtown LA. So they get into the elevator and they're like in the elevator, I don't know how many stops. A few people get in and the elevator breaks down.
Shut up.
And like Mum,
oh my God.
They're stuck in the elevator for like over an hour.
At the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah, the Cecil Hotel. And I was like, what was that like, Mum? Stuck in this elevator. She's like, I was she kind of like laughs about it, but she was like, I was more disturbed that there was a woman in the elevator that was getting really anxious. Like she was psyching herself out. And like Dad's quite good in like these kinds of situations. I think Mum had a huge culture shock, like right from the get-go. And yeah, they managed this woman was just like getting really really
freaking
disturbed.
out,
Really scared. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows who she was?
Right.
But there was also other people in there too, but Mum remembers this woman. And then they got downstairs and then Mum like notices this like really creepy, like evil looking man. Like he just looks really nasty and creepy at reception. And then fast forward to 2019, The Night Stalker. Mum's watching it and she's like...
The documentary?
Yeah, Mum's
Shut
watching
up.
it. Nah. Oh,
That's great!
She's like, that's the guy! No, she didn't see a creepy guy. Oh, hey, she could have.
Hi, this is Brian O'Connor.
And I'm Michael Duran.
Horror fans, it's time to get your fix with Opening Kill, the new podcast where we dissect everything terrifying in the world of horror.
From the latest movie news to an in-depth look at a feature film and a peek at chilling horrors to come, we've got you covered.
Whether it's gore, suspense, or supernatural thrills, Opening Kill is the ultimate horror deep dive.
Listen to Opening Kill on your favorite podcast platform every other Thursday, if you dare.
She could have.
She bloody well could have seen.
Oh my God, you were great. Okay, so it was true until after the elevator.
True until the man. Elevator was real. Woman going crazy was
Perfection.
Real. No, but I did remember watching The Night Stalker.
Yes.
And ringing Mum, like pausing Netflix and be like, oh my God, Mum, the Cecil Hotel, this horrible
What was
place.
his name? Yeah. Richard Ramirez.
I'm like,
think so.
And I like made Mum watch it.
Yeah.
And I think she was quite like, that like, wow, that's bad. Like I think she realized, fuck, mate.
Like, we were kind of lucky to get out alive.
Yeah, she was like, I had bad vibes about that place, and she really did. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, yeah.
So did they sleep there?
So what did they do?
Yeah.
Yes. So Mum was like, if you don't get me out of this hotel room, Mark, I am divorcing you. And I like say this with a smile on my face because I know Dad can kind of convince. Dad can be stubborn and Mum can kind of like put up with Dad.
Yeah.
But I can just picture Dad be like, okay, Irene. Like he knew.
He knew he was in deep shit.
He knew he'd pushed it a little bit too far to save a little bit of money.
Straight to Skid Row.
Yeah. So they got on the Greyhound bus the next day and went to Las Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Crazy, yeah. Like in the 80s, like literally in the thick of it all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
2 little Kiwis. La la la.
Hello.
Yeah. What do we have here? Yeah.
That's such a good story.
Because it's so funny because you hadn't been to the Cecil Hotel, have you? And neither had your friend. Yeah.
I've driven by it a bunch. Like on some of those shoots I was talking about that I worked on. Like there was one for Lady Gaga's video when I was CCOing. Like it was by a mansion that was like down a ways from it. Oh, yeah. But they had us parked there and then a shuttle was taking people like back and forth. But passed right by. Cecil Hotel.
It's
And
not
it was
even called Cecil anymore, Larry. It's called something else.
There's like a sign down, but on the wall, like it still said Cecil Hotel, like Hotel
really?
Cecil on like the brick on the side of it. At least last time I passed it. They might have painted over it by now, but yeah, I was like, whoa, yeah, it's definitely not a place to stop in at.
Definitely.
I don't seek it out though. That's the thing, and like
yeah.
I feel like someone will have to pay me to try to like go to these supernatural places.
Well,
I
mean,
because
I don't
like it.
You don't need to go there. Like, you know what you're going there for.
Exactly.
I think skeptics go there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like people that want to see something because they haven't seen it. You've seen enough.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
and I feel like, you know, and you stumble across stuff that like, you know, we wouldn't even expect. So like I think when people like me, I have like a not a morbid curiosity, but just like a what's that called? It's called, my sister did classics and she's gonna be so disappointed that I can't remember it. I think it's called your epithedicus. Or your epithydemus. Yes. Epithydemus. Anyway, it's something like it's a Latin word or Greek word. But I'm definitely butchering it. But it's a story of this like warrior, this Greek warrior that like I think he was walking to get somewhere to tell the group that there was a battle the day before or a week ago, and whoever won or something. This is not the story, but it's kind of the gist. Okay,
okay,
just
great.
Go with
I'm going with
it. So he is walking to get to the destination to tell the people of the news. But as he's walking, he knows over the hill was the battlefield, and he knows that there are thousands of men dead. Yeah. And he was like, I don't want to go over the hill. It's not part of my destination. It's not part of the journey. But I really want to see all the dead soldiers.
Yeah, like I'm just curious.
Yeah. And that's that feeling. We have this innate human feeling of like, kind of,
what is it?
I want to see these this fucked up thing. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I want to see it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm like. Where am I going with this? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
No, this is great.
But I think that's what it is when either you haven't had much trauma in your life. Yeah. You've had a very sheltered, privileged life. You're you've definitely like you've got an itch that you just want to see it. You just want to like know about it and then move on, I guess. But like we all know it's going to be impossible to move on from a sight like that. That's true, what I mean? Like why do we think we're going to feel good about it? Like what is that like human feeling of like wanting to see it but then regretting it instantly?
It's almost like that feeling, and this is going to be really gross, but like of like picking your zits.
Oh my God, like squeezing a pimple.
Yes, because you're like, it looks really deep. I don't think I'll be able to get it out, but I wanna try because it's like delicious feeling. Yeah, like it's
satisfaction.
Yeah, I don't know why, and it's like so gross, but it's kind of the same of that of like seeing like an injured animal and being like, is it dead? I should probably keep driving. Well, I'm just gonna pull over and look.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like, why? You're not gonna help it.
But that's the thing. I don't want to see. I either want to see. I mean, I wouldn't want to see a dead animal. For some reason, I'd feel like seeing a dead body is better than seeing a dead animal. Was that fucked up?
No.
Maybe that's just the nurse in me. Yeah. That's why I never compare him a bit.
You're used to it, yeah.
But I think, like, it's like, also, it has to be dead or alive. It can't be, like, half dead and alive. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be suffering. I don't want to see suffering. I just want to see it at peace. You know what I mean? Like I want to, but like the ghost thing, I guess, I don't know. I think I would want to see a ghost in peace. I don't want to see a ghost suffering. Yeah. I don't want to see a ghost tormenting. I just want to see a ghost that's like, just, I don't know.
I've seen ghosts too that are super at peace and that like are like super happy just to like be where they are.
That's nice.
Yeah. I can tell those stories. I'm going to tell them in a future episode, so you'll hear them. But
happy ghost stories.
Yeah, like they're usually elderly, and it's just like they either like really liked the place that they lived, or the people that they were with, or like they're waiting for a spouse to pass.
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, and they're just like chilling.
Do you think the ghosts that are like menacing or like got ill intentions, is that because that's who they were when they were alive?
I do think sometimes that maybe that energy led their life more so than the rest of it, or like maybe if they weren't like mean or menacing people, they made a lot of choices that maybe hurt other people, and so they're like stuck on this plane maybe to learn a lesson, and then they get mad because of that because they can't move on. If that makes sense. I think it could be maybe one of those. Wait, I want to ask you more about like your medical stuff, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So, and again, I'm going to sound like an idiot, but I'm going to do my best. And if you don't want to answer a question, it's okay. You just move on. Have you been around like dead bodies?
Yes, I have.
Okay. How many? Like, can you count, or like too many?
I definitely think like it would be at least more than 15.
Okay.
Maybe more than 20.
That's great.
I kind of have lost count.
Yeah.
Which is probably for a certain reason of like
self-preservation.
A subconscious self-preservation. Yeah.
Have you watched someone die in front of you?
Yes.
Yeah. More than once?
Yes.
Okay. And can I ask like how you felt? Like, was it kind of a similar experience, or was it depending on the circumstance? Like, how did that feel?
Everything's very clinical.
Sure.
So already like you're in a hospital. So it's it's not out of like a normal context. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like hospitals, people die in hospitals. So that already is like 50%. All the spookiness and creepiness is like out the window.
Absolutely.
Actually 80%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there's that. It's very clinical. You ideally, unless they're palliative, which do you guys have a palliative pathway in America?
I don't know what that means. No.
Palliative means the patient doesn't have a curable, acute. They've been admitted acutely, so they've been admitted into the hospital because they've deteriorated, but their outcome isn't going to improve. So they what's called go on like a palliative pathway. Some young people can be palliative, old people can be palliative, people with end-stage cancer, anyone with like an end-stage chronic illness often becomes palliated if they become acutely unwell and they're just not doing good. They're not recovering.
Sure.
A lot of elderly patients, because I used to work on a general medical ward, which I can't remember what that's called here in America.
General surgery?
Maybe. But yeah.
It could be. I don't know.
General medical is just like your ho-hum, your pneumonias, your heart failures, anything with your organs, a problem with your organs, a problem with your body.
Okay.
Yeah. Surgical is like you've needed surgery.
You broke something. Yeah.
Oh, like, but anything medical is like either fixed with like IV medication through the vein or whatever through any kind of artery or kind of anything intravenous, really.
Wow, okay.
I'm trying to think of anything else. Drugs. Lots of drugs. We fix with drugs. It can be quite, it's a lot of geriatric people. I love working with the elderly. So palliative elderly patients, I've seen a lot of them die. If they're palliative, that also means that if they do die, we're not going to resuscitate them because there's no point in bringing them back to life. Have you ever seen someone have chest compressions before?
No.
So there's like, it's a little bit misguided on TV.
Is that when you're like, whoa, and you're like doing like the shock?
Yeah.
Clear. Yes.
So it's not at all like that.
Okay.
Chest compressions are the pumping of the chest. You're meant to like push down 2/3 of the way. Gosh, I think it's 2/3 or it's 1/3. Maths is my strong point, but you have to push really hard, right? You should hear, ideally not, but you should hear ribs crack. Okay. Yep. So to do a proper chest compression, you want to pump the heart. The whole point is pumping the heart manually to pump blood around the body.
Wow.
That's what we're doing with chest compressions.
I've always wondered what this was for. This is so interesting.
Okay, well, that's CPR 101.
I love it, yeah.
So that is the reason why you do chest compressions. To pump the blood around the heart while the heart is still warm. You are now the beating heart. The clear zzz thing are defibrillator pads, and you put them one on one. Oh, you can put them anywhere, but so long as both pads, in between the pads, is the heart.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
On either side of the heart.
On either side of the heart. And that is a electrical convulsion to This is really bad. I should know all of this, but I'm not.
No, this is great.
I just don't really know how to like medical.
You're
people
like telling it for dummies, and I'm a dummy, so this is perfect.
So I guess it restarts the heart. You could say. So I think a lot of people think that that's the important part of CPR,
right?
But no, it's the chest compressions as well.
Sure.
And sometimes people, it has to be a shockable rhythm, which really just like means that sometimes you can't even do you don't even need the defibrillator at times, but often you do. If it's non-shockable, you just continue chest compressions. If it is shockable, and that's why you say clear. You say clear because you want everyone to get off the body so no one actually gets electrocuted.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So if you see on TV clear and someone's like still like touching the patient,
which is very common.
they have been electrocuted, and I don't actually know what happens if you get electrocuted.
Okay, but the whole concept of this feels supernatural, like Frankenstein, of like the fact that like an organ can completely stop functioning, and with electrical currents can restart it.
Well,
like that's kind of supernatural. Like it feels
the whole world being alive is supernatural. Right?
Yeah, that's true. If you look at
it's like a miracle in itself that we have like all these organs working perfectly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So where was I? Palliative. That's CPR 101. I hope I've helped you with that. But palliative,
Absolutely.
you don't want, it's not, what kind of life would you live if you have an outcome of like, say, another year and a half? You've got a chronic illness. You want to be resuscitated. You do end up having whatever, a clinical emergency. Your heart stops beating. We don't want to jump on someone like little grandma's chest, break their ribs. What kind of quality of life are they going to have if we bring them back to life?
Yeah.
They're just probably going to like die of a pneumonia with their ribs. You know what I mean?
Their ribs broken.
Yeah. So there's reasons why we would not do chest compressions on someone that's died. Hence, they are on a palliative pathway. We aren't going to do any invasive treatments. We're just going to keep them comfortable with drugs, comfortable drugs, that being
like morphine,
midazolam. Well, we call them midazolam. This will be different drugs in New Zealand compared to America. Haloperidol. We've got this thing called Buscopan, which is like
I think I have heard of that actually.
Yeah, it helps with secretions and things, and tummy pain as well. But you end up getting on these medications, and I've seen a person be palliative, not eating or drinking, but on subcut, as in into the fatty tissue.
Okay.
For 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a really long time.
Oh, my goodness. Are they getting nutrients through the tubes as well? Is that... No, wow.
So I'm not an expert in palliative care, but what someone told me when I was a young nurse was, when your body is shutting down, you don't have a drive for hunger. You don't have a drive for thirst. That's not really the body's like main concern anymore. And what are we doing? Giving them fluids and, feeding tubes.
Right.
We're just kind of keeping
they're on
their
the
organs.
pathway out.
Yeah, we're nutritioning them, but we're kind of just keeping them alive for longer. Whatever reason why they came into hospital for their chronic illness
or age or whatever
is like maybe their kidneys are shutting down. Their kidneys aren't going to be able to like perfuse this properly.
Right.
We might end up
in more trouble if you
poisoning
try to
them. Yeah, you know what I mean? So we're just kind of like, but we make it super clear that like their needs are met until they are no longer like important. Yeah. So like if someone's like, I'm hungry, that's sure, first of all, they're talking.
The way you said that.
Right. I'm hungry. So like there's that, I think, there's a palliative, no one wants to see their grandma in pain or hungry or thirsty, but rest assured that like with enough pain relief, like if you just don't want them to suffer, so with the right medication, with their needs being met, and if they look comfortable, because the body's amazing, like you can tell when they're not comfortable. They move around, they kind of groan, they make noises. You can give them like sponge stuff to like moisten their mouth, and if they're like sucking and like you could try
thirsty or
but like giving them IV fluids, it's just not like ethical. But some cultures do that, and they believe in that. Like they want to see it through right to the end.
very end.
Yeah,
sure.
and I can kind of get that. And yeah, it's palliative is I'm not a specialist in palliative care, but
this is so interesting. I love it. Yeah.
It's hard to kind of know unless I can't truly advocate for the patient. I've never been in that position. But
sure.
Yeah, you just try and advocate for them as best as you can and make them as comfortable as they can be. But yes, so I've seen a patient, like the family were in the room, so many family members, and they were crying and laughing and holding on to mum and talking, and everyone had to go for lunch or something. Like they had to get they went out to get some food, and it was just this other woman here, this other, like her daughter. And as soon as the family all left and it was just the daughter, the mum started to like blink her eyes closed, and she was like, mum, she's going. And I was kind of like, chill. Like, no, she's not. Like, I mean, I've seen someone palliative for like 2 weeks, like give it like a couple of days. I think you're being a little bit over dramatic. But sure enough, she was like kind of, I don't even know what, I can't even explain it. I was so concentrated on the daughter yelling like, mum, wait, get them back in. So I was like, okay, of course. So I was like confused, but was like, okay. And I was like, hey, I think the family want you back in here. And the family came back in. Some of them had already gone off to the cafe. But this daughter was just crying, and she was like, Mum's gone. And I thought like, wow, Mum was holding on.
Wow, yeah,
for
literally
so long until they all left. Like she really wanted to like, and it was nice, but it was also like so peaceful as well for her to be like, okay, enjoy lunch, guys. I'm out of here. I'm going.
Oh,
yeah.
Magic is real. In 1930 San Francisco, a supernatural world exists, hidden within the mundane. Meet Norman P. Blank.
Hello.
As mundane as they get.
I'm a lawyer.
Quiet, you. Through a twist of fate, Norman is hurled headfirst into a world of magic, wonder, and danger. Will he survive? Probably not.
What?
I said quiet. Roll the tape.
You can't be pixies. They're not real.
Is this real?
I was just mugged by pixies.
It's Machina. David X Machina.
I am Lady Blackfreeze.
A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Blank. I'm the Lord of Ash and Shadow.
You ever wonder why egg salad is so stinky?
No, not
It's
really.
pixie farts. That's why.
Damn this drink well! That'll teach you to be dirty.
A floating skull is talking to me.
Just remember he's a friendly floating skull.
Even though the city is filled with magical creatures, they are absolute crap when it comes to paperwork. That's where I can help.
Join us if you dare for a peek into the occult adventures of Norman P. Blank.
Yes, but that was really interesting to see, like, it happened so quick.
Yes.
I've never seen something like that. And often, emotionally, family members can become quite, like, frazzled.
Yeah.
If the loved ones do funny little odd things.
Right.
So, yeah, I've always felt that one was a weird one.
Well, let me ask you, so then while I'm sorry to the listener, we're eating delicious chocolate mousse right now, if you're hearing it.
So good.
So when, spirit leaves body, not about anything paranormal or supernatural necessarily, but, is there anything besides, the physical aspects that you do notice, energetically in the room, or, does it make, if it's not super emotional, is there a difference at all, or not really, or?
I think because we're so short-staffed, it's like you get in, you clean the body.
Okay.
Because normally the body releases
everything.
That mainly being excrement, feces, sometimes.
Can I ask a kind of gross question? Is there other stuff besides just feces and you know, like is like bile a thing? Like, are there other juices that come out that we don't really think about?
No, I've never seen any.
It's like normal juices.
Yeah, normal juices. But you do turn the patient sometimes. It's a 2-person job to kind of clean the body, because the body becomes if you've had a busy shift and you haven't had time to like quickly do it, the body gets rigor mortis. It becomes really stiff. So you have to do it within an hour ideally, or else it gets a bit too. It's still doable. It's just harder on yourself to like move the body. But when I did turn a patient, I remembered it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. Oh. And I had a moment, and I like got into the room, and the room normally where I worked, it was just like curtains as like walls. So it was very like or maybe like a wall, but the curtain door, like a big curtain door. This was an actual room. Like it had like 4 walls and like a door. And it was for like mainly for palliative patients, so they could have like more privacy, or like patients that were maybe a bit more vocal or severe disability. And I just looked from the doorway and just saw the patient, and just saw the body of the patient, and I was like this person is not here anymore. Like, it is just a shell.
Wow.
You know, like this, the whole face was like sunken, pulled back. The body was like a yellow color. Like,
interesting.
It was just like this little, I don't know what you'd call it. This little this little capsule.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's hard to explain. The spirit had gone.
Yeah.
But I was like, but what if?
It
just like set up, you know, like I would have a heart attack.
I was wondering like if you ever like got scared or like thought about stuff like that. So that's interesting.
No, I mean, you have like the odd intrusive thought, but then you're like, okay, better like get back to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I gotta like,
it's just so normal.
These bodies aren't gonna like wrap themselves. So yeah, you clean the body, and as I was cleaning, there wasn't this body. Was it this body? It might have been the same body I was talking about just then. We turned the patient over towards me, and the patient went, and I remember being like, oh my God. Like, I was like still holding the body. But I was like looking at my friend, my colleague, and we were just like, and we were like, no, it's fine. It was just gas, just trapped gas.
Oh my
gas.
God.
Yeah, it was really spooky.
Oh my God.
But it was just trapped. It was just gas coming out from the body.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That would be it for me. I'd be like, bye.
Yeah. And then we clean them, and then we remove all their personal belongings.
Yeah.
We remove all their, say, anything in them, like IV lines or like catheters, or little subcutaneous catheters. Often we keep the teeth in.
You say often?
Often
you take them
do.
out?
I don't know. I think we do keep them in. Yeah, I don't think unless the families request them to come out.
Like the nurses would pull them out?
Well, I mean dentures.
Oh, okay,
dentures,
okay,
sorry.
okay,
So like they're mainly.
I gotcha.
They're all mainly
no, that makes sense.
Elderly, with dentures, and then we wrap them. We wrap them in this clean white sheet, and they look like a little mummy. Yeah, and they kind of look like, like an inanimate object, and it's really like, I can't think about it too much on the job because it's so fucked up.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's a dead body. You've literally wiped a dead body's ass.
Yeah.
You've removed all this stuff. Like, the blood is like a darker purple. It's not like bright red anymore. It's kind of like a little bit, like, it's weird. And like this, you could look at it and go, this is really, really depressing.
Yeah.
But like, I think I look at it as like I was so lucky to like be one of the last people to see this little capsule before it like.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that's really special.
Yeah, it's like it's a really.
It's like an honor, kind of.
It's an absolute honor, and like it's really, it's sad, it's beautiful, but like bittersweet because like our bodies are so cute. Like look at us, and then you like. You know, you die and the body still stays here, and it's like we can't throw it in the recycling. Like, you know, like it's such a bizarre concept, death, and like I just think, where does the spirit go? Because it's not
there.
With them. Yeah, it's not in this little capsule. It's not in this. Need to think of a better word for capsule, but it's not.
No, I think that's a great word for it. Yeah.
It's not there. It's an absolute privilege to work with the death and dying. I could not imagine. Oh my God, I could not imagine looking after young kids.
Yeah.
Like I could never do pediatrics because I just see this body, and it's like a body well lived.
Right.
You know, like that's why I feel so content with working with
the
them.
elderly. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine like a little child. That would just be too heartbreaking. So yeah. I had like you know how I talked to you about like, what did I say? It was like you either want to see someone alive or someone dead.
Right. You don't want to see the suffering.
I have seen someone half alive, half dead.
How?
Oh, it was bizarre. It was like middle of the night. It was a hectic shift.
There's so one that was half dead, half alive, suffering.
Yeah, funnily enough, I wouldn't say he was suffering, which was I think for me the weirdest part.
Yeah,
it was a hectic shift, and he was palliative, but he wasn't like acutely palliative. Okay. So he was like, you know, he had his family over. He was talking. He didn't have like, you know, the best prognosis, but I think he was. Maybe he was on like antibiotics, but like that was it. Like, okay. I think he was also on his regular meds if he could swallow them, you know. Mm-hmm. But he was like alive and kicking, you could say. And
like
then,
conscious, like present.
Conscious, yeah. Oriented, alert. Oh, was he orientated? He was. Yeah, he was. He had his eyes open. He could talk.
Okay.
And then could he talk? he could mumble. He could mumble and he could eat food.
Okay.
That morning. That afternoon he'd deteriorated slightly, but you know, often you can kind of like guesstimate when they might go, and I was like, he's still got like maybe, you know, a couple of days left, definitely. But anyway, I asked the doctor to like increase his buscopan dose because that secretion medication to help with like, because like often if you're not moving around if you're not mobilizing your body, like we're constantly like swallowing, we're constantly moving these fluids around in our body. Mm-hmm. If you sit in a bed and you can't swallow that well, and like, you know, you kind of
it like builds up in your mouth.
Yeah, and like other things happen when you're like dying.
Sure.
Not acutely, but like dying chronically. I said, could you please chart some more? Or chart some, because I don't think he had any. Anyway, I like he had a grandson, like a grandson who was like 19 or 20 in the room, so that was nice. He was never alone. Mm-hmm. And then I was just busy, flat off my feet for like the last 2.5 hours. And the doctor, she's like, oh, which room? And I'm like, oh, bed, whatever, 33. I'm like, okay, cool. And then she comes back out and she goes, he's not looking too good. I'm like, oh, okay. And like when I say palliative, you don't do any observations. You don't need to do, like, you really don't need to do anything but make them comfortable. Okay. And the last time I'd seen him, he was comfortable. The grandson knew to ring the bell if anything. If there's a problem. Yeah. So like if they're sleeping, you know, like I'm trying to like reassure you. Don't worry, I had neglected him.
No, this totally makes sense. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, what do you mean? So I went into the room and yeah, this gentleman, he was, I would say like half dead, half alive. His grandson was sleeping. Thank goodness.
Oh, okay.
But he just, he had like what's called apneic breathing, like he like a breathing, like real abnormal breathing, shallow at times, and then like a deep breath. His eyes were like completely glazed over, and he wasn't blinking, but his mouth was open. And I was just like, wow, I am literally seeing someone die.
Whoa.
Right now. And I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Do I like wake the grandson up?
Right.
You know, and be like, hey, so it's, 4 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my
do you want to watch your granddad die?
Yeah.
I think what I ended up doing was I gave him Buscopan.
Mm-hmm.
He looked comfortable, like he was comfortable as much as
he could be, right? Yeah.
And I think I also kind of intentionally like moved and like accidentally like brushed past the grandson.
Okay.
And he like stirred and woke up, and I was like, oh, hello, I'm just giving your granddad some more medication to help with his secretions. And then he like looked, and he didn't flinch or anything. Like the grandson was really good about it.
Wow.
And what we do as well to prevent pressure injuries, because if you're lying on one side for a long time and you can't move yourself, you need to be assisted to roll to the other side. And often we say in nursing, tuning a patient when they are palliative, often they like die within the next like hour if they are on their way out.
Oh wow, why is that?
All the secretions like build up to one side, and by tuning them, you move all the like fluid to the other side, which like really stirs with the heart and the lungs. And if you're thinking like, okay, yep, let's not get the show on the road, but like, I don't want you to be like I don't want you to be half dead, half alive right now.
Right.
Like, I think let's just turn, and like we turn because we need to. But some families, we explain it like sometimes. Look, we will turn your granddad, or we'll turn your loved one, and if they and often they might go a short time later. Some families are like, oh, can you wait? And I've done that a few times, and I've waited like 7 hours, and it's like, nah, this is now, well, not 7, I'd say 6, pushing it, but I'm like, we have to turn them now, like their bone is like their hip bone is going to be now sore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Although anyway, it's hard to like kind of please
everybody,
yeah. And it's often like they're waiting for their loved one to come
to be able to say goodbye.
Yeah, and a lot of family are like, we are ready for nature to do its thing.
Okay,
if you turn them and that happens, it happens. Like that's when they're ready to go. Like, yeah. So it's like a weird little intel.
Yeah, into
kind
of how that works, how it settles.
Yeah,
because even this might sound silly because it's like not on the same level at all. But like, do you notice, or is there any truth to like sleeping on one side versus another? Because sometimes I will feel like if I'm sleeping in multiple hours and then I turn on a different side, like how do you sleep? Do you sleep on your back? How do you sleep?
I'm a side sleeper.
You
yeah,
are?
Definitely. Although I also sleep sometimes in the morning on my back with my arms above my head.
Oh,
like
really?
a princess.
Do your arms fall asleep?
No.
My arms fall asleep if I put them up like that.
Yeah, no, I think it's the way my pillow is. I like, maybe they're forward a bit more, like they're higher up above.
You're just a little ballerina.
I sleep like a ballerina. What is the position is that?
That's
Fourth?
First, second,
third.
This is fifth. This is fifth. Yeah.
I sleep in fifth. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So good. I was gonna say something, but I really.
I know. I'm sorry. I think I interrupted you. You were talking about but yeah, that sort of half dead, half alive.
And like I was saying, nursing is like, as before I start crying, it's such a privilege, but it is a really like rough job.
Oh my God.
I could not do it without my colleagues.
I can't imagine.
Like,
yeah.
No way. And like the other thing is dark humor is like super important.
Oh yeah.
Super important in nursing. Like it's fucked up, but like we have to, like you have to laugh or else you cry. So like there's a lot of like, I wouldn't say inappropriate, but like you just try and see the funny side of it, right? Because like we have to deal with a couple of dead bodies tonight,
right?
And It's crazy. You know, like you take them down to the morgue, you have to identify them, like you are pushing a dead body off onto this bed, onto this cold, hard, like metal tray, and thunk, you hear the head. Like, it's just fucking weird.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, ooh, in there are all these dead bodies. Like, it's real weird. So, I don't think about it too much.
Sure.
And then if I do think about it, I think about it in a funny way, and that's kind of why I don't know if you've seen my Instagram, but yeah, that's why I started my Instagram account and just making all those funny videos with that nurse Hannah.
I love it.
It's like, I mean, it was my escape.
Yes.
And I originally just did them to show my colleagues. I was like, hey guys, check this out. This is funny, eh? Or like, you know.
Well, you have quite a few followers. When did you start your Instagram page?
2017
or
18. A while ago.
So are there like a lot during the pandemic, or was that harder to kind of make content during that time?
Good question. It was harder.
Yeah.
Because, gosh, I'm trying to think of the COVID stuff that I did. It was harder, but I still managed to make videos. I just don't think I like delved too much into the politics of it all.
Sure.
And yeah, my whole audience was really just for nurses, because like relatable nursing content, nurses need escapism, nurses need to feel like they're not alone.
Yeah.
All these things that we see every day, like, yeah, it's okay to like freak out. It's okay to like be scared. Like, you don't have to be brave on shift every day.
Yeah.
And like a good way to do it is to have a good laugh.
Oh
But
my gosh.
but yeah, and then I think a lot of people that weren't nurses but like needed the healthcare also appreciated it too. And then I started like, I'd be working one day and someone was like, oh, I follow you on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. And she was a patient. And so you're really funny. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. And I could just tell she like felt comfortable being in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because she was like, I know a familiar face.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you kind of don't know like nurses or doctors. They're just this professional person like under this mask. But
Yeah.
to actually be like, oh, I know you on Instagram.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like
a connection all of a sudden in a very scary setting.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be scary. And like, and a lot of my videos are like, you know, hospital based, and it's like hospitals are just like offices for us, you know, like our normal day at work, unfortunately, is your worst day in your life. So we see this all the time. We know what to do. Just like you know how to make the best coffee, or like you know how to do my taxes, whatever, you know, like don't worry, we've got you covered.
Yeah.
But like, I think as soon as you like remember that you're dealing with a human, it does kind of take its toll.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'll say, and if I can pull Jordan in for a second here, we've spent a lot of time cumulatively in hospitals. I've had a lot of health stuff, and like
and also just fun.
so much
fun. But like,
so fun.
It's an objectively fun experience.
See?
Thanks so much for listening. Remember, you are not alone if you've ever heard a bump in the night or caught something out of the corner of your eye. There are countless others who experience things they can't explain. And this podcast is your safe place to listen and share. Also, I want to remind everyone that this show is for entertainment purposes. I am not a professional paranormal investigator. I did not go to school to study this. I can only speak about my firsthand experiences. And with that, I'd love to mark the importance of spiritual inclusion. Your thoughts, ideas, and theories about the other side are welcome. And we know that so much of our common knowledge and perception about the paranormal stems from historical and cultural experiences. So we are open to your knowledge and understanding of things that we may be ignorant about or not fully understand. Let's learn and grow together. Stay spooky, and we'll see you next time. Hey ghoul friends, got a spooky story to share? Well, I want to hear about your haunts. Whether you've seen a ghost or something unexplainable, send your supernatural experiences to us at jauntyhaunts@gmail.com. That's JAUNTYHAUNTS@gmail.com. Or DM us on Instagram at jauntyhauntspod. That's jauntyhaunts.pod. You can also find us on TikTok and YouTube under Jaunty Haunts Podcast. I want to hear from you.